Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Colby Owens.
Sinead Darby.
And welcome to The Source. Once again, we had another week, and then we also have another shooting. On last Thursday, after the taping of our show, around 5, p.m., there was another shooting. According to this, was 2300 block of Carter Street. In that section, it seemed like there's a whole lot of shooting going on there. What district is that?
The first. The third. Xanthia Oliver's district.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out, are there any... I'm tired of asking about a plan, and I know you can't really just say all shooting stop. One of my good friends, the mayor for the city of Philadelphia, is really going through a whole lot of trauma right now, dealing with the shootings and the violence. But she also making some drastic steps in order to help curb some of it. What is going on with City Council that will help us to know that at least we're going to have some money in the budget or some of the plans? Or is there any movement? I guess the first question.
Yeah, so one of the conversations happening now is that will we have money in the budget to go towards violence prevention? So currently we use our ARPA funds to fund what we are doing in the community now. I know Deborah Mason is leading that. I know Wolfie, he's doing some work on that, Network Connect. So there's different organizations that come together to work in like maybe 2 or 3 sections of the city, but it's not the whole city, right? And I know Deborah Mason came to one of our public safety committee meetings, and she talked about how those areas, they saw a decrease in crime in the areas that they have been in, right? So that's what they have reported to us. I haven't
Was Carter Street in that area?
No, they're not on Carter Street. But they are, I can't remember the areas they're in. I can find that next time, and we can talk about the areas they're in. But yeah, so there hasn't been any conversation. I know at the mayor's update, City Council asked the mayor in his budget address, will there be anything regarding gun violence or violence prevention? He did not confirm yes, or he did not confirm no. So we won't know until he does his budget address if that's included in it.
Well, has there been any solidarity promises that the budget will not pass if it's not there, given that this should be a priority in this city?
No, not yet.
Not yet. When is the mayor is scheduled to do his address to see what's in his budget?
I don't know that it's coming up. I think it's next Thursday.
Okay, so I guess, and I didn't mean to throw you off guard with that one, but I'm trying to ask questions because those who are watching us are constantly seeing violence in our community, and City Council will say one thing that we don't have the control over the budget, but by the same token, there is control over the budget.
Oh yeah, City Council has control. They can hold their vote on voting on the budget, so it doesn't go through without having certain things in it. So we have the control, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm hoping that for those who certainly watch this show, know that there are people who are hiding in their houses. They're afraid to come outside because there's not enough going on. Now, hats off to those individuals who are doing some good work in the community with trying to help with public safety. But it obviously, if every week we come on, we are sharing another shooting, and some are not even reported. It's just going on, and we hear through the street that there are doing a shooting occurred. I think there needs to be a priority set for gun violence and violence in general for the city.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I think those conversations are starting to come to the forefront. I know. There is going to be a town hall that's coming up to talk about gun violence. We're going to have some organizations of some people who have been impacted to come and talk about their experience of being impacted by gun violence. Some fathers, mothers, spouses who would be there. We're asking for Deborah Mason and her team to be there to talk about what they're doing.
Now, is this something that the city is doing, or is this I noticed it was on your list, but but is this something that the city is doing, or is this something that an organization is doing?
No, the city isn't doing it. Councilwoman Sinead Darby is doing it in conjunction with some other people. We got together and said we're going to have a town hall. We're going to invite media. We're going to invite all the groundwork, the community or grassroots organizations to come out to this and to have a conversation. And we want City Council to be there. So I've been encouraging my council members to come. The community wants to talk to you guys about how we're going to address violence in our community and how we're going to use it to address it in this actual budget. Not next year, not 2 years from now, this budget.
Now, do you think that it will lend itself to some people being there? Because what I'm noticing, and I don't know, y'all are part of the political arena here in the city as well as the state. I'm noticing that when there is not emergency diehard issue, it seems like it gets no traction. Having this town hall is one of the things that would really help us to be able to talk, dialogue, understand what is going on. But do you really think, you said you're asking for the city council persons to come. Some people get so hooked up on people's personalities that they don't want to be a part of it. That happens even with the clergy too. So I'm not really just saying, city council. But when will we put aside our agendas to start asking how are the people affected by some of the things that's going on? And a town hall such as this will bring several communities together to talk about what's happening. Because if the persons who said that in the section of the cities that they are working on, it's working, how come it has not blown up? That's what I'm trying to get an understanding on. How come it hasn't blown up? And I don't want to keep saying, like I'm referring to you to speak on behalf of the city, because you can't really do that. I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of the city. I'm asking those who are watching, how come we're not calling our city council persons saying, look, you're going to have to step up with this violence. I know that y'all are not in charge of the police department, but you kind of are. Because at the end of the day, we elect people to be able to be the voices for this community. And I'm just really sad. I'm a little tired of all the violence that's going on, and the people are just suffering. And it's always in the poor communities.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be quiet then. One day, you all will recognize that it is important that you elect people who have your best interests at heart. Because what end up happening a lot of times is that we have all this violence, all this crime, all these different things that's happening, but it's not happening in the block that they may live in. But until it starts happening into their block, that's when it starts getting their attention that needs to get. I think, I don't know all the details of this gun violence town house that's going to occur. Ms. Darby will certainly talk about that when she talks about her scoop today. But I want to make sure that you all start coming out, supporting, and then raising your voice. And if you be labeled as the mob, take over your city. That's what's important, that you take over your city and you make sure you hold accountable every person who you elect to serve you. Your tax dollars are what paying all of the salaries, whether it's a big salary or a little salary. And you have to start investing yourself by sharing the truth. Because what happened on Thursday, was there any updates on a person who was shot? I think it was a 40-year-old person.
Just that he was transported to the hospital in stable condition.
And that's all we got.
That's all we ever.
It's been almost a week away.
We're not gonna get more.
Okay. But I guarantee you, well, I don't want to go in there because I don't want to start any other problems. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Greetings, I'm Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker of the 3rd District, and I am running for Lieutenant Governor for the state of Delaware. I have previously served on the Wilmington City Council. I served on the Board of Parole, and I am in my 6th year, my 3rd term as a state representative, and I am seeking your vote on September 10th, 2024 to be your next Lieutenant Governor. I believe I am uniquely qualified for this position. Please consider voting for me on September 10th, 2024. You can also become involved with the campaign by going to my website, www.sherry, spelled SHERRY, Dorsey, DORSEY, Walker, WALKER, that's SherryDorseyWalker.com, and you're welcome to make a contribution. Sign up to volunteer, host a party, join us for parades. But please consider voting for me on September 10th, 2024 to be your next Lieutenant Governor. May God bless you and continue to be a shining light in your life.
Hi, I'm Stan Waterman, head men's basketball coach at Delaware State University. Enjoying the opportunity to be here today with Dr. Curry, having an opportunity to speak about our program down at Delaware State University. Hopefully you had a chance to catch the show. Again, we've asked for supporters. Come on out, support us financially, friend raising, come on out to games. We just need your support in the stands. However you can do it, get behind us. We are looking to do big things in 23-24. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jamal Womack. I'm the director of Olympus Academy here in Wilmington, Delaware, and we just wanted to let you know we are here. If you're interested in learning about basketball, if you're interested in getting better in basketball, if you're interested in finding a school that puts all of that together, the academics, the basketball portion, and if you're not local, you can actually stay on campus with a staff that's committed to making sure you're safe, making sure that everything operates in a function to progress your career and your academics. We are the school for you. We are growing. We're gonna go so high in a limited amount of time with your help. We can't do it alone. So if you heard what I just said and you believe that Olympus Academy is the right place for someone you may know, whether it's your son, whether it's your nephew, whether it's your grandson, please contact me. You can reach me at my personal email, which is jmack03@icloud.com, or my work number, which is 718-483-0290.
And we're back. What's going on with Sinead's Scoop today?
Yeah, I kind of want to, I got the date for the mayor's address, so he'll be announcing his budget. So, City Council is entering into our budget season. So throughout the month of the end of the last week of March, going into April, we will have meetings every Monday and Wednesday starting at 4:30. To talk about our budget for each department. So the mayor's address is going to be on March 21st at 6 p.m. You can tune in virtually, or you can come down to the city county building to participate in person.
That's Thursday, right?
Yeah, March 21st is a Thursday. 21st is a Thursday at 6:30.
At 6:30. Please make sure that's the lower third is there so that people will know and be able to hear. You said you can call in, you can attend, or you can come in virtually.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do all of those things, and just talking about the budget hearing. So the actual budget hearing starts Wednesday, March 27th at 4:30. On that day, we have the mayor's office. They'll be doing their budget presentation, and Wilmington City Council will be doing our budget presentation.
Now, how does that work? What do y'all present?
So we present how are we going to spend our pot of money? So our department gets a pot of money out of the big money, right? Okay. So then now we're saying this is what we're going to do with our pot of money. And what's really important, and some things I can hit on with the council budget on March 27th that's important to go out for, is that we're also asking for more discretionary funds to be able to give out to the community, which I think is important. We had a compensation study that might impact our budget hearing, where City Council, we're going to get on par with other councils in regards to how much we're getting paid. City Council is a full-time job, but it's considered part-time, and we get paid part-time. So to be a City Council person, you have to work a full-time job. It's no way to survive off of that and to be a very effective City Council person when you have to work a full-time job. I had to do Amazon Flex sometimes, right? Just to be able, that it's not enough to live off of. But what Wilmington City Council, it allows when you open up the funds or increase the salary, allows for different type of people to run. Right, low income people, mothers, fathers, different people who need access to income to be able just to survive. Right.
Now you said to run for City Council.
You said to run for City Council. It opens the door up for them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't run now because of salary, because of the commitment that it takes. They can't do it if you have a family and you need to take care of them. You can't live off Wilmington City
But that's
Council.
if you're committed, because there's some council people who are just collecting a check.
Yeah.
They're not showing up in the community. They're not showing up to meetings. Whenever there's controversial pieces, they don't want to face the public. I mean, at the end of the day, they are collecting a check. It's a part-time check with full benefits. You get a pension after 5 years, which some of them only care about that. And they don't care about the community that elected them to do work on their behalf.
And that's going to become the argument, because you have people like yourself who are working full time. in your role.
Yeah.
And getting part-time wages, but then you got some who don't work no time. And they deserve to have full-time wages too.
Well, I think that's two separate conversations. Like asking for equitable income is different than holding people accountable to their job. So the position should be equitable, right? The position itself should have equitable income, right? For people to be able to have access and to feel like they can run for office, right? That's one conversation. Now, the other conversation you guys are talking about, I think is a totally different conversation about how do we hold our city council accountable when they're in those roles to make us feel like they deserve those benefits and those salaries. So I think it's two separate conversations for me.
Right, I got you. But add to is a third one too. The third
one.
The third one would be when y'all do your study, please do a study on like communities.
That's what I did.
Because if you're talking about 70,000 residents as opposed to Philadelphia that has 1 million residents.
Yeah, different.
I don't want, because they make good money in Philadelphia and they are full-time people, but I don't want it to be where we are.
Yeah, so the study did show similar.
So y'all had already done the study.
Yeah, they showed parts of the study and then we asked a lot of questions. We had a committee of the whole meeting. They went over it. We asked questions. They're supposed to come back with us answering some of those questions in regards to the wage, to the compensation study. So that might change in the budget. Some of the things that I've asked in the council budget were pretty much three things, which I think is really important. Translation for Spanish.
Okay.
We have a large segment of our Hispanic, Spanish-speaking population over West Side, but they're throughout the city of Wilmington, but a large chunk of that community over West Side. So I'm pushing for that to be in the council budget. I believe I have the support for that because I need 6 other people to say yay and agree with it. I believe I have the support there, but how it's implemented, I'm kind of getting pushback on. I had one council person say, why don't we just put them all in a committee room and just have them listen to it in a separate room? I was like, what in the segregation is going on? Like, no, there's ways to include them in the actual meeting without putting them in the room to watch subtitles and to listen.
Did somebody say that for real? You just, because sometimes I mean.
No, I am so serious. They said that. And I said, that doesn't seem right.
I hope they don't represent the West Side. That's
they
crazy.
do. They do. Okay. So.
That's crazy. Again, lack of representation from current council member.
I'm stuck on somebody making even that comment. I don't care if they're from the West Side, the East Side, the North Side.
Put them in a separate room. Like, what?
Okay.
Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you even say that out your mouth? Well, they didn't say that out their mouth. They texted. So I got proof too when it's ready. They texted to
Jesus,
me.
help me.
Right. So trying to get translation. So that's like translated some of our documents. When I went to a conference, there were people who spoke different languages. And it was 2 ways they could do it. They downloaded like this app and they were able to put their headphones in and they heard everything that was happening. And for the older people who didn't have an app or, like smartphone, they had headphones they can put on. And the headphones, whatever language they spoke, it was translating. And then they had, when they needed to speak, a translator speaking to us so we could understand what they were saying. They were speaking to us in English. Right. So it wasn't like some people were complaining that it would be distracting. I was like, it wasn't distracting. Like,
I mean, the UN's been doing it for years.
I was going to say, that's how they do it.
That's how they operate. So
it's not distracting at all. Like, no, it's cool.
Some
it's
people
okay.
are in a box. They have not been outside of Wilmington.
Like, what? Like, yeah, that was the part. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to mobilize the Spanish-speaking community. I'll be having a flyer circulating soon and speaking to some of my Hispanic community and friends and getting them to try to get the Spanish community out on the 27th. So I'll be having that flyer soon for them to come out because we have to pressure our city council to go the right way because they can switch. Because for this, city council agreed for us to have a lobbyist. Right? An advocate. So the mayor administration has a lobbyist. So they make a decision on bills they want and they go down to Dover and they have their lobbyists go and work it so they can get what they need passed. City council, we just sitting like this.
Who did you say is down there? What city?
The city of Wilmington, the mayor's lobbyist.
What city has a lobbyist down there? You're saying the mayor's administration.
Mayor administration. Right. The city of Wilmington does not have one. Right?
Well, this is the mayor.
So who's the mayor's lobbyist?
I don't know their name. I can get his name. I talked to him a while ago.
There is other cities, right, that have lobbyists who are down there every single day talking about how almost every given bill that's up, that's going to be voted on, impacts that city and its population. The city of Newark's lobbyists, I swear he just lives in the building.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in the Capitol, and he hasn't been there. Dover has a lobbyist that stays in there. Georgetown has a lobbyist that stays in there. Why doesn't Wilmington? Even though it's the mayor's lobbyist, I've never seen this person. I've never seen them speak on a bill.
Oh, the mayor
equity.
has a lobbyist because I asked about the
I think it's only on special interest.
Oh yeah, I know it's on special interest.
I asked to use the lobbyists because I said, could city council use them? And they was like, no. So I was like, darn, we need our own lobbyists. So every budget hearing, this is my fourth one, I think, my fourth one. Every year I'm like, can we get a lobbyist? And I don't have enough votes. But I'm so close to having enough because it was once a yes. And now it's on the no table. So we have someone who flip-flop. They don't tell us who, like on city council doesn't support it anymore. But I think it's so important for us to go to the next level as legislators to build a proper relationship with our state legislators so we can get done what we need to get done on Wilmington. Wilmington has we don't have a lot of home rule. Like we don't have a lot of say. Right? We have to go through the state to be able to do things for us to operate effectively in a way that makes sense for our constituents. So I'm getting a lot of pushback, I think, now on us we signed for the lobbyists to start. Like the lobbyists started. They said yes. And now they're going back saying, no, we don't want the lobbyists anymore. And the lobbyist doesn't want to be called a lobbyist. He told them call him an advocate. So the advocate, who is a lobbyist,
he would have to be a registered lobbyist, but okay.
Yeah. So they are now saying that they want to do. They don't want it. So we'll have a lobbyist up until June 30th. And then after that, if this budget passes the way the city council budget is, we won't have an advocate.
Wow.
I also asked for a grant writer. A grant writer is important. Why? They can help us get funds, help us get money for the projects we want to do in our community. Why don't we have a grant writer looking for grants, say, hey, this can fit over West Side to go fix this park. This could fit over here and like help us get that funding that we need to be able to do that. This administration don't care about our projects. They are prioritizing what they want to get done. They're not prioritizing us. So those are the things that I have been pushing for. So
who would have control over the lobbyists? Would it be he would be working off of she would be working off of a resolution that y'all passed to go down to Dover that the council passed, and now you're asking this person to help advance this piece of legislation?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just wanted to double check because there was someone who was down in Dover just recently for a committee hearing to speak against a piece of legislation by Brian Shoup that would hold developers accountable for if they mess up our roads. The municipalities wouldn't have to pay to fix it. The developers would. And for them to be speaking on behalf of the city of Wilmington, but bringing up the great development that's happening in our city, and we shouldn't be having to make our developers pay for all the roads that they have messed up, Shipley Street, I think is kind of interesting. And I just wanted a clarification of where that direction would have come from. So this person must have been there on the direction of the mayor.
Yeah, well, it had to be because it wasn't from city council.
It wasn't our lobbyist.
But you don't have one really. Oh, you do have one.
Well, we have one for. We just got one. Like literally, just got one.
Got fired on his day off.
He's working the city council. I'm like, boom. I'm like, yes, we got people are excited. I'm like excited. They finally said yes to it. And then we get to the city council budget, and they're like, nah, take it out the budget.
The problem I have is that because I'm not a part of the political scene. As it relates to being elected. And the problem I'm having is, how is it that we all understand that Dover runs the state? You can't, as a city council like in Philadelphia, vote on something and it's law.
Nope.
You got to go through. So not to have an advocate, using the right language.
Yep.
Not to have a person who can advance the agenda of the city and its best interest from the city council perspective. I don't mind the mayor too, because the mayor is the administration, and they need to be able to have their agenda.
Yeah, they should have an agenda.
But to say that is not needed, but when they vote, now does that vote ever come public, or is it just stay private?
This is a public. So each department presents on their own individual budget, but you have to say yes or no to the whole thing. Like, you can't say yes to city council budget and no to public works.
No.
It's either
What I'm
yes or
asking,
no.
I'm saying, will they say yes or no to the advocate? How do you? You said there was something
the internal.
that told you.
Yes, internally. So internally, you guys won't know. It's an internal.
And you won't even know.
I don't know exactly who.
Right.
They won't tell us who, but they'll say we don't have enough votes for that.
No, see, that's the stuff that I think needs to become public too. Committee meetings need to be, it's a public organization.
So I would recommend that council updates how they handle their committee votes in their floor votes, right? So many municipalities, including the state of Delaware as well too, have transitioned to a better record keeping. So if you go online, you can click on the bill, you can pull up what the roll call was, right? You can see who was absent, who was there, and how they voted, whether they voted in favor or against to get it released from committee, or on the floor if they voted yes or no, or if there was amendments and stuff like that. Again, city council is outdated when it comes to that and needs to be updated.
On purpose.
So in other cities, you're saying that they vote on our own budget first and then go to the bigger budget?
Anything that goes in the committee,
discussion, they break it down.
Anything that goes in the committee, it's not private. The FOIA Act, you really shouldn't be having these private votes. If you say, if you bring up that we're going to have a, and I'm not the
they make it like a budget.
Right. Even if you just say, we want to have a advocate, okay? If it comes up for a vote, it should be the public's interest to know who supported this and who did not.
I agree. I like that.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Those of us who run nonprofits know we can't have these private votes.
Yeah.
We have to be able to vote. If you call for the record of something that East Iron Fair did as it relates to our 501c3, we have to have the record to be able to verify by name whether they supported it or did not. So I don't understand why everything is in such secret. That's why different mayors can go to different council people and say to them, don't support it. And then they don't support it, and you don't even know who it is that like, this is very much needed.
Yeah, I agree.
This is very much needed.
Making that part more public and transparent.
It has to be. Because that'll stop a lot of this craziness.
I agree.
Because people will know what you're doing, and you can't hide it.
Yeah, so if people could come out, encourage city council to say yes to having an advocate, lobbyist / and a grant writer and a translator, I'm going to pressure them on the 27th and get people to come out to understand the importance of it. There, if you go to Wilmington City Council website, you can get a list of all the other budget hearing dates. We'll be meeting every Monday, every Wednesday for the month of April, and then voting on the final budget in May. So that's the council budget. That is the budget hearing. And then really quick, one thing is about the gun violence committee. Town hall. I'm like, townhouse.
I even said it. I said, oh, that's wrong.
That threw me off. I was like, townhouse. Yeah, so
I'm thinking about my townhouses.
Yeah, no. So that is going to be on March 28th, Thursday at 6 p.m. This space is for stakeholders, legislators to listen to the community who have been impacted by gun violence. Okay. And this conversation is important to happen now because, as we mentioned earlier, we did put some funds as a council, as a city towards violence prevention, and we have a program running, but that money is going to run out, right? So we need to be proactive and think about how are we going to pay for these. In Newark, they use their public safety department. We can use we don't have a public safety department, but whoever would be in our public safety department, we should take that budget to fund our Office of Violence Prevention, our violence prevention work that we're doing. We have not got confirmation from the mayor administration yet on if there will be violence prevention funding in their budget that they're presenting, or even where it's coming from. That's important too for me, because if it's coming out of the mayor's budget, it's not the same impact or same sustainability when you say that it's going to come out of our public safety department, which would include mainly our police officers and fire right now. And understanding that that's how other cities traditionally do it. That's how they fund their Office of Violence Prevention, and that would make the most sense. So where the funding is coming from is going to be important, and if they even do decide to put money in it. But he's about to leave, so why would he care?
Oh no, he cares. Trust me.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Y'all mob anyway. So
You said I'm a mob.
yeah, y'all the mob anyway.
Oh, okay.
So that's the town hall that you guys will be at the Powell Center right on 37th and Market Street. You can come over there and engage in the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, I'm cool. I thought I was short on time. But one of the things I know we talked about last week was about administration overstepping the power, and I call them bullies, right? Since I've been on city council, day one, even I'm going to say even before that, people have been trying to, as I call it, bully and think they can talk to you any type way. They're very disrespectful, and they got the right one. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you that you're not gonna do that to me. You can do that to all the other council people because y'all control them, y'all funded them, but you can't do that to me. So the administration, as we talked about last week, they sent a memo stating that they told us that we're not allowed to contact departments. That doesn't work that way, right?
I don't see how it could.
You can't do that. Now they have all in the right to say department heads don't talk to city council, but they can't tell city council not to talk to the department heads. They don't control us. We are equal branches. They can't tell us what to do in that manner. So for me, I asked for a memo to go out to tell them basically no, in a nice way. They told me that they're going to wait to see if our council president, Congo, would do it. They think it would be better coming from him.
As the president?
So I'm waiting to see what he's going to do, and if he doesn't do it, I'm going to do it.
No, I think that's where all the power, well, not the power because they took a lot of it away, but that's where the strength is, and I think he should do that. But then the question is, I'm always talking about technical stuff. How come y'all have not sued? When that memo came out, why didn't you go to the legal office? What do you call that office?
Our law department?
No, with the law department, yeah. And tell them
you talking about the law department
yes.
that can only be fired by the mayor and that always sides and buys. You talking about go to that department on the mayor?
Oh,
that's what you're saying?
Reason can only be fired by the mayor. It's a part. He's supposed to work.
The law department is hired and fired by the mayor. Council can retain their own attorney, which they've done in the past.
Right. So
no. We have our own attorney.
Okay.
Our attorney cannot go against the law department. It's written in the contract. They could not the
law department didn't see it. I don't know, but listen, don't see. I get sidetracked easy. No, the law. I'm saying when that memo came out, how come you didn't have your lawyer to fire one back saying this is illegal, unethical, and unacceptable?
I can't do that.
Why can't you?
They're not allowed to write memos that go against the law department.
The law department sent you all that memo, or did the administration send you that memo?
The administration.
Okay,
so then it would be our lawyer.
Your lawyer going to the administration, not to the law department, saying this is unconstitutional or whatever you want to call it. Because the problem is, see, y'all like to always, and I'm gonna look at this camera when I say this. People like to say, Pastor Curry, you start too much trouble. I've used Hanifa Shabazz's name at this table several times. She served as the president of city council. When she lost, all power from city council was stripped. I can name Ted Blunt. I can name city council presidents who would never permit the stuff that's happening today to happen. And I'm not even gonna go that far back with Ted Blunt. I can talk about some of the other ones who were more recent. But once that last council before this council got in, all power was taken from them at the hands of a president of the city who got together with some cronies. See, go ahead and sue me because you're a public servant and I understand that was wrong. And now y'all got no power. Y'all can do nothing but sit on TV, talk about it, and everybody else do what they do. Unacceptable.
I agree.
Unacceptable.
I
agree. I'm sorry. One of us did this to us. And I'm waiting for the opportunity for her to run for an office. Because then I'm going to become even more. I'm sorry, I done got mad.
No.
I give you 3 more minutes.
No, that is fine. So in that, I am asking for a memo to be sent to the administration, letting them know that they could not tell us that we cannot contact a department. Yeah. So I'm waiting on that to specifically happen. It's time for... And I think I'm not going to have it, but city council has the power to tell the administration no.
Absolutely.
Check them.
Well, you never know. They may have taken it from them.
Right. So when
you never know.
Yeah.
The back office deals happen.
Yep. No, I agree.
All to strip the president of city council, and that's a shame. That's a shame. And you're suffering because you want to make some change, but you can't. Cause he really, but he still need to write that letter. I'm gonna say to him, I'm gonna say, if you watching Trippy, which you're probably not, I don't know, I would write that letter. Because at the end of the day, at some point, y'all got to stand up. And again, this is preposterous. I'm sorry. Go ahead, keep moving. I'm sorry. I'm not happy.
No, you're good. That's all I have, because I know I ran out of time. But that's
I was
all
giving you more of my time because I'm just okay. Next week we're gonna continue
the other
on.
ones. Yeah.
City of Wilmington, you deserve better. You deserve more. Stop allowing people to prey on you. PREY. Stop allowing them to prey on you. You are not underprivileged. You are privileged. This city is one of the greatest cities in this country. And yes, we've made some mistakes and we've had some down moments, but the resiliency of this city is unbelievable. And for us to be taking the jump that we're taking, from whether it be the administration, whether it be city council members or whatever, is wrong. We must do what is right. I agree in development. I believe we should have fine homes built here in the city. I believe that we should have development going up. I also believe that we must take care of our poor. And when we don't do both, we're unbalanced. The difference between, in my opinion, Republicans and Democrats is that Democrats supposed to be taking care of the poor, where the Republicans have failed to understand why. That's what I believe, and that's why I still register myself as a Democrat, because if that one piece get fixed in the Republican Party, I might have to say goodbye. We'll be right back.
I am Tony Prado, Communication Specialist for the Blood Bank of Delmarva. We are charged with keeping all 19 hospitals in the Delmarva Peninsula stocked with the blood products they need for various hospital patients. The only way we can help those folks is by convincing people to donate blood. It's something that we cannot produce synthetically in the lab. We need people to donate their time and their blood in order to make that happen, whether you're giving whole blood, double red cells, or platelets. And we'll take those products, we'll test them, make sure that they're safe, and then distribute those to the hospitals as needed, including in hospital emergencies, trauma events that occur in the flash of a minute. And we ask you to help us. Go to delmarvablood.org or call 1-888-8-BLOOD-8 to schedule your appointment. We're celebrating National Blood Donor Month to raise awareness. And as I said previously, we are asking people to donate once per season, whole blood, or you can do double red cells twice a year, or you can do platelets every 2 weeks. Whatever fits your schedule. It's a great way to get back to your community, sit back and relax and donate some blood. And if you're like me, you don't have time to coach Little League or volunteer at the soup kitchen. Donating blood is a legitimate way to give back to your community. You're gonna be saving lives and you're gonna feel good about it. I promise you. Thank you for your time.
We need volunteers, we need mentors, and we need sponsorship. So please think about donating to Duffy's Hope. Go on our website, duffyshopeinc.org, and donate that way. You can call us at 302-652-3532. We can take your payment over the phone. You can mail us a check at 100 West 10th Street, Suite number 9, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. Also, you can donate your time. If you don't have money, donate your time. Come help us with the garden. Help us mentor or help be a tutor, things like that. So please think about donating to Duffy's Hope.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, or what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
Lincoln University is the first institution founded anywhere in the world designed to provide higher education in the arts and sciences for youth of African descent. Today, Lincoln graduates continue to make names for themselves in business, the sciences, religion, education, law enforcement, as well as many other fields, continuing the legacy to learn, liberate, and lead.
And we're back. Our co-host, she had to leave for a meeting, so we thank God that Kobe, you were able to stay. Let's hear what's going on with Kobe's Corner.
So first off, we know that last week I talked about the resignation of Eugene Young as our state housing authority director, so that he can focus on his congressional campaign. His deputy has been named the new acting secretary, and her hearing took place. She passed out of the executive committee. Now it goes to the whole Senate floor to vote to confirm her as secretary.
What's her name?
That I will pull up in a second. I completely forget her name. I am so sorry. I have only met her once. I don't know her as much, but I've heard all good things about her. On a national level, our U.S. HUD Secretary, former Representative Marcia Fudge, has resigned. At the end of this month, she will be stepping down from her post as the U.S. Housing and Urban Development Director, Secretary. She says that the focus needs to stay as a priority on affordable housing. And that should be the focus of both Republicans and Democrats. They have not been able to get everything done that she's wanted because of the deadlock between the two sides right now. Which also makes me want to talk about what's going on here in Delaware and in Wilmington. So a few years ago during the pandemic, the NAACP and a few other organizations asked the state to do a housing assessment. Well, it took a few years, but we finally got that report back. And I just want to highlight some of the things. They broke down the entire state because we were such a small state. And this was also required for HUD as well too, but the state delayed it. I want to pull the city numbers real quick. So the city's existing supply of housing that is affordable to households that are up to 80% of the median income is not meeting the demand, right? Minority households were much more likely to live with larger families than white families. We know this. We have a lack of dwellings that are 3 or more bedrooms, especially for renters. It is overwhelmingly disproportionately greater for minority families than it is white families. It's harder for us to find those. With the exception of Lincoln Towers, the majority of public housing in the city of Wilmington is located in Black and Latino communities. We know that as well too. That's Wilmington Housing Authority. That's our high rises. We're known for that. Over the last decade, the city's affordable rental housing market has decreased due to the demolition of obsolete public housing units. We know that. That's Riverside.
And Riverside.
And Southbridge, yes. And many of Housing Authority's properties are offline or unable to be occupied due to the lack of renovations or in the current process of renovations happening, right? So again, that all affects minorities here in the city of Wilmington because that's where the houses are. We lost over 1,300 housing units that were between that were units that were renting for 1,000 or less, right? 1,300. So that again, people are being priced out of these units. We've lost 2,664 units where it was above 1,000, but they were still considered affordable in the city of Wilmington. That's a lot of housing loss that we've had here. So again, we have some issues, and all this development going on is not helping the city. This report says it plainly to HUD. Wilmington is failing on addressing the housing need here, and what they're doing right now is not addressing it, not meeting the needs at all. So I just wanted to really highlight that even though y'all elected a developer mayor, he has not done a good job at developing where he needs to develop. Now, I will give a small shout out for them bringing back, even though they said that this is a new initiative and new pilot program, bringing back the Partners in Care program. This is a program that was implemented under Mayor Dennis Williams. Again, I just want to point that out, was implemented under Mayor Dennis Williams, and Mayor Mike Pizicki cut the program and has refused until now to allow the Wilmington Police to do this program again. It's a partnership with Christiana Care, where they will supply mental health professionals to work as liaisons with police officers. They will start, the pilot program is from the shift 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. They will be riding in the car with officers. They'll have bright green shirts on that say Partner of Care to identify themselves. But this is for mental health issues. Again, this is something that is based off of Newcastle County has this program. Nashville has this program. It's very similar to the Denver Star program as well too, for when they get calls when dealing with individuals that are having a mental health crises. Again,
I had a real nice conversation with one of the officials at Christiana Care before they announced that it would be a reality in Wilmington, and I praised them because I thought that was one of the greatest things that they could do, and that is to allow the police allow the health specialists, whether it be mental or really mental, to make sure that they were being taken care of, because we were noticing a lot of people were getting shot and things of that nature because they didn't have anybody that could really speak to whatever the concerns may have been. So I think that's an excellent program, and I pray that it does work here in the city. Yeah.
And again, this is working with their victim service unit, their youth response service. They've been engaging with the community. I will say they have done a very good job at their monthly community resource fairs that have been at community centers all across the city, Hicks, MSK, the POW, and other community centers as well too. So again, I will hats off to Chief Campos for really pushing hard for this. I know it wasn't easy, but for getting this done and trying to take the right step in the right direction.
Good.
This is something we've been asking for a very long time at this point. And my last point is it's a few things that I want to talk about, which is Legislative Hall update. They are back from JFC break, which means there's a lot of bills being discussed. There's a lot of bills being voted on. And I just wanted to give people an update on a few of them. So I had already talked about HB 125. We have Representative Ray Moore, who's the bill sponsor, and Senator Tizzy Lockman come on the show and talk about the importance of that bill. But there's some other ones that are up as well too. After some back and forth of what committee this bill was going to be in, HB 189, which prohibits LLCs from having the right to vote in here in the state of Delaware.
They vote now?
In some places, Rehoboth and other places, they're able to vote.
I received a phone call from a legislator, and I said, they can vote?
Yes.
What is wrong with y'all people?
There was a bill to allow this to happen in Seaford that was 1 or 2 votes short of getting the votes it needed to pass last year. It did pass the House. It didn't go anywhere in the Senate. This bill is introduced by Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker to prohibit that from happening ever again, and prohibiting any LLC who are not people. Again, LLCs are businesses. They should not have the right to vote. And to break it down, let's say we had that in the city of Wilmington and I had an LLC. But I lived in California. I lived in Hawaii, and I voted there for the presidential and everything else.
Right.
I would also have the right to vote in the city of Wilmington.
People need to understand that.
Right.
Because the capital of corporations is pretty much in Wilmington, you're going to find people making decisions.
That's like allowing Elon Musk to vote here.
Well, he can.
In Delaware.
Or he moved his office, didn't he?
No, he's still in Delaware.
Okay.
He's going to probably move pretty soon.
Yeah, okay.
But again, that's what we're up against right now. Now, that bill has gone back and forth. between Judiciary and the House Admin Committee. It is back in House Admin Committee. We will see what happens with that. I heard the Alphas are bringing a crew down to speak on this. I hope, that's some friendly competition.
Q will be speaking on behalf of that bill, because I certainly told the State Representative Sherry that I am definitely in support of her bill.
Yes. And then on the other part, another bill that's up right now is HB 290. Representative Eric Morrison from the Newark area has introduced it, and this removes the barriers to higher education by allowing students who've been convicted of a violent felony to apply for the SEED program. And the SEED program, 2 or 4 year funding to go to school, free of cost, right? That is a huge and pivotal bill that will help a lot of people right now who've been through our criminal justice system, who want to better themselves, but does not have the financial resources. Because we know when you come out of prison, there are already barriers that are set up, right?
Absolutely.
You could have the best intentions whatsoever, but there are boxes that just will X you out because you have that on your record. So again, I think this is a huge bill. There's been a lot of pushback from members of the Black Caucus, which is extremely disappointing. Representative Nnamdi Chukwu, for you to sit there and say you don't want this bill to pass because you don't want to give them false hopes that they can get a good job even though they still have a felony, I think is disingenuous. I think it's, someone who's supposed to be an education advocate, this goes against everything. And if you're so concerned about that, then start changing the rules to allow individuals who have felonies to get some jobs. Now, again, I'm not saying all jobs, right? But again, we should be opening up access to the job and stop this discrimination from happening, because we know that this state has not given people have not been convicted of felonies because they've actually committed crimes on an equal basis. They've received a felony based on how much money you have, because our white counterparts can commit the same crime and get off scot-free. And we've seen that here. There's been multiple reports of this. And as a Black Caucus member, I would hope you would want to step up and do something about that. And it's very disappointing that you don't. I know if he was still alive, Hicks Anderson would be fighting for this. But again, the apple and the tree made me not connect it. I also want to update HB 263, which is getting rid of discriminatory practices for students who have outstanding meal debt in schools, has passed the State House and now is going over to the Senate. HB 267.
Before you go, do you think it's going to pass the Senate?
Yeah, it should pass the Senate.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it's bipartisan, right?
Okay.
There's actually a Republican who's going to be the prime sponsor in the Senate now.
Okay.
So that should go pretty quick. Not that one. Sorry, that's Senator Laura Sturgeon. This next bill is a Republican is being a prime sponsor, and that's HB 267, which again prohibits the family court from imposing jail sentencing or suspension of license for inability for a person to pay child support if they're willing to, right? If they're trying to pay, or let's say their job's changed but that update hasn't changed and they're trying to make payments and everything, even though they fall behind, you should not lose your license. You should not be sent back to jail. Also, this addresses if you go through a divorce, in Delaware, a court can rule that you owe child support for the time that y'all separated to the time that the divorce went through. So if y'all were separated for 2 years before the divorce went through, you may be hit that day that the divorce goes through. With family court, you may be hit with 24 months of child support, which puts you over the limit, which qualifies you to be either lose your license or be sentenced to jail. That's not fair. It has happened to individuals. So again, addressing that and making sure it's done in a more equitable way. And then of course, the last piece is HB 180 and SB 180 and SB 3, which are two constitutional amendments for voting rights. One would address some of the derogatory language that is on our current constitution, while also creating an avenue for permanent absentee voting. The other would remove some of the felony that disenfranchises people. And also this would allow for early voting as well too. So both those bills are up. Senator Darius Brown is SB 3 with Representative Moore, and SB 80 is Senator Kyle Evans Gay with Representative Carrie Evelyn Harris. So again, we will be tracking all those bills very closely as they continue to move through their committees and to the floor. And I did have one more, which is SS1, which is Senate Substitute 1 to Senate Bill 4, which is rewriting our probation system. That is being sponsored by Senator Marie Pickney, who has been working very hard. This will be what I consider a flagship bill for her career if she's able to get this over the line.
Good. Okay. Well, we hope that you kind of enjoyed the show today. And while Colby was talking, I stayed in my spirit, stayed in my mind what we were talking about just before the break. Let me just urge you, let me beg you as we get ready to go off the air today, to urge your council persons, especially those who are minorities, the Latinos as well as the African Americans, and also those who are Caucasian, that it's time to restore the power back to the president of city council. We have elected a president of city council, whether it be the current person or a new person. What was done was wrong. We cannot take the power from the president of the city council. There is two co-equal parts of government. Really, it's three, but in this case, we're dealing with the legislative group and we're dealing with the administrative group. Right now, the way it's set up, it is unbalanced. We have to be able to go to one of the two to be able to make a difference in our personal lives while living in this city. It was snatched from the president of city council. I'm not dealing with an individual now as it relates to whether or not Trippy should have the power or not. I'm talking about the office. We have to learn to respect the institution. City council, you hear Shanae Darby constantly talking about this, talking about that, but you also have city council persons who are comfortable as long as they can get their hands greased. At some point, we have to make a decision, and I need you to start speaking up. I need you to start talking to your city council. I need to know how you voted. That's the kind of questions you need to ask them. And then begin to spread the word through social media, spread the word through the community that this person is not representing us. Stop allowing them to give you chicken sandwiches. It's time to learn how to catch the whole chicken. It is not about a personal interest. But when I see what happened to the last city council, when the president left, was angry and stripped the president, they got together as a council and they removed all the power out of the president's office. Wrong, unacceptable. Current city council and the next legislative time, or when y'all gonna have your next council, it's time to restore the power. And I'm gonna be saying that quite often. When y'all sit down and talk about how it should be done, go back to the way it was. I didn't like some of the presidents of city council. I'm not gonna say any names, but I never ever challenged the person as much as I'm concerned about the position. He should not be able to walk around and not do nothing, have no effect at all. That's wrong. We voted a president of city council in because we feel that that person should have the power to be able to speak to the administrative level and say wrong without there being a problem. That's all that I have today. Is there anything else on your table?
That's all I have.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. See you next week.
Take care, y'all.